Once upon a time, there was a family of four, the Smiths. They loved to go on road trips, exploring new places and having adventures together. One summer evening, they set out on a road trip to the mountains. They had their car packed with snacks, water, and all the essentials for a fun trip. As they drove through the winding roads, the scenery around them changed dramatically. The green trees became scarce, and the mountains loomed in the distance. The sun had set, and the stars shone bright in the night sky. They were enjoying the journey when the GPS system in the car malfunctioned. It started showing the wrong directions, and they found themselves lost in the middle of nowhere. They were miles away from any town or city, and there was no mobile network. The father, John, tried to fix the GPS, but it was of no use. The mother, Sarah, tried to calm their two kids, Jack and Emily, who were getting anxious. The darkness around them was unnerving, and they had no idea where they were. They drove for hours, hoping to find a way out of the wilderness. The road seemed to go on forever, and they were running low on gas. They couldn't turn back because they didn't remember which way they had come from. The children were getting tired, and the parents were getting more and more worried. They had no idea where they were and didn't have any resources to help them. The darkness around them was oppressive, and they could hear strange noises from the woods. As they drove on, they came across an old abandoned house. The father thought they could rest there for a while until they figured out their next move. The mother wasn't too keen on the idea, but they had no other option. They entered the old house, which was filled with cobwebs and dust. The rooms were dark and dreary, and they could hear strange creaking noises coming from the walls. The children were scared, and the parents tried to reassure them that everything would be okay. As they settled in, they heard a loud banging noise outside. It sounded like someone was trying to get in. The father grabbed a flashlight and went to investigate. He found nothing outside but was even more unsettled by the darkness and the eerie sounds of the night. The family tried to sleep, but they couldn't. The strange noises continued, and the children were too scared to close their eyes. The parents were worried about what might happen to them in this strange place. Suddenly, they heard footsteps coming from upstairs. The father went to investigate, but when he got to the top of the stairs, he saw a figure standing in the darkness. It was a tall, shadowy figure, and it seemed to be watching them. The family was terrified and didn't know what to do. They ran out of the house and got back into their car, hoping to find a way out of the wilderness. But the road seemed to go on forever, and they were running low on gas. As they drove, the darkness seemed to swallow them up, and the strange noises from the woods only grew louder. They were lost, scared, and alone in the middle of nowhere. Hours passed, and they were running out of hope. Suddenly, they saw a light in the distance. They drove towards it, hoping it was a sign of civilization. As they got closer, they realized it was a small town. The family breathed a sigh of relief as they pulled into the town, and they found a gas station and a motel. They checked into the motel and slept soundly, relieved to be out of the wilderness. The next day, they got their car fixed and continued their road trip. They never forgot the terrifying night they had spent lost in the wilderness. It was a memory that would haunt them for years to come. As they drove through the mountains, they came across a ranger station. The father stopped the car and went inside to ask for directions. The ranger was kind and helpful, and he pointed them in the right direction. The family continued their road trip, but the experience had changed them. They were more cautious, and they always made sure they had a backup plan in case something went wrong. Years passed, and the children grew up. They never forgot the terrifying night they had spent lost in the wilderness. It was a memory that stayed with them, and they often talked about it with their own children. The Smith family never took a wrong turn in the car again. They had learned their lesson and were always prepared for any situation. But they never forgot the fear and uncertainty they had felt that night. In the end, the family was grateful for the experience. It had brought them closer together and taught them the importance of being prepared. They continued to go on road trips, but they were always more cautious, knowing that anything could happen on the road.